What is up, everybody? Today I'm taking a look at Linlin in OP17. This is my second time taking a look at the deck. There were some crazy clips of me playing the deck earlier, and I wanted to make a follow-up on it and kind of make a finalized list, or a finalized starter list for me at least. And that's what this is. That's what this video is going to serve to do. I will kind of explain about my choices as we go and touch on what I think could change and all of that good stuff. If you don't know Linlin, when attacking, you can discard one, and then your opponent gets to choose, which is the drawback of this effect. You can either discard another card and heal one, or your opponent is going to discard a card. And keep in mind that is your opponent choosing, which is really, really important just because there is some counterplay involved and you have to be considerate of that when you're playing the deck. Into the list, you're going to run 4 Strucin. It's a 2k and a top 3 Searcher. Typically, you want to hold it for a 2k just because the deck does brick a little bit at times, but I did try to minimize the bricking as much as I could. 3 Zeus, and I think I would like to try and find a place to make it 4 Zeus. There are some cards that I could see myself cutting, but I just want to play the deck a little bit more before changing this list all that much. 4 Cracker, it's your 5 Don play if you're going first, and your 6 Don play sometimes if you're going second. It just basically lets you heal a life if you rest 2 when you're playing it, so it's a 3 cost, but it's a 5 if you want to get the effect. This Daifuku, which is a good 2k for the deck. This Pudding, which is going to be your 3 or 4 Don play. You can trash a card with trigger and then draw 3, and then it is a top 5 Searcher for Big Mom Pirates as the trigger. This Oven, and I think this Oven is going to be a super important card for the deck just because of the on KO. I think currently the way the deck looks, it is going to lose to control, and so this Oven is also really good for that scenario, but also really good because it is one of the only cards that gets played out that you actually get the effect of when it's played out, sort of, because all of the other play this card cards are on your turn on play. You lose the effect of it, which means you essentially never get to benefit from actually playing these cards on your opponent's turn. But this one does get the effect, so that's one of the other reasons I think it's really good, is it's actually something you really want to see out of life. I have the Smoothie in here as a 7 or 8 Don play. You can add 1 card from the top of your deck to your life cards, and then your opponent is going to trash 1 card from their hand, a really good hand hate card. Honestly, I think one of my favorite cards in the deck so far. This Katakuri is basically a heal and then give one of your opponent's characters minus 3k. It's one of your 6 Don plays, and then for your 8 Don play, it is going to be a 3 Sweet Commanders, which does the same thing, but it gives minus 3 to 2 characters. This Linlin is another 6 Don play that I have in the deck just because I wanted to make it a little more consistent. I feel like Cracker's a fine 6 Don play, but that 6 Don turn is going to be pretty important, and I could see myself cutting this out just to fit in more Zeuses or more Prayer of Sparrows, but it is a really fun card for the deck, and if you can get it off, it is good. On play, you can trash a card from your hand similar to the leader ability, and then your opponent once again chooses to either trash 2 cards from their hand or trash a life card. This Prayer of Sparrow is an interesting card that I need to be convinced on a little bit. It is going to be your 9 Don play, I believe. More often than not, it'll be your 9 Don play because you're going to want to play the 3 Sweet Commanders off of it. So it's a good going first card. It's also good going second if you're playing it on 10 Don and maybe playing like a Katakuri or something out, or 8 Don playing a Katakuri out is what I meant. It's also really good for playing this Linlin out. So I think if you want to focus on this Prayer of Sparrow a little bit more, you could bump this up to 4 and Linlin up to 4, but I think this Katakuri is like a really good play as well. I honestly think this 3 Sweet Commanders are just all right. They do draw a card as well, which does kind of help justify that 2 extra Don cost. But the best card in the deck is this Linlin, which turns all of your 4k trigger characters into 8ks on your turn. So the deck is going to be really weak to removal if somebody's swinging into your board. Like Kobe is going to be insane into this deck, I think. So we could see a Kobe meta. I honestly doubt it just because I think it's pretty weak into some other stuff. For events, you're going to run the Unblockable event. I run 2. Wherever the card reveals came from also ran 2. And it is also a 4k counter for your leader or your 10 drop or your 6 drop in this deck list at least. Typically just want to use it for the Unblockable to end out the game because there are a lot of decks that like to run a ton of blockers right now, and I think Unblockable is a great keyword to deal with this. And then lastly is this Master Saber.
Mazer.
And it is a Linlin counter event once again, but it's only 3k for the one. But the trigger is what really makes it good. It says your opponent may trash 3 cards from their hand. If they do not, you may KO up to 1 of their characters at the cost of 6 or less. So it's a good removal option. And if you're playing into a deck that's weak to removal or wants to keep the character on the field, you have to trash 3. So it's a really good hand hate card as well, which is one of the reasons why I love it. I really love hand hate. I've actually been playing some Riftbound recently and been playing hand hate Pike. But that's the list. If you're just here for the list to try it out, let me know what you think down in the comments. Check the description for the deck list. It may change. It's going to be an updated one and one you can find at the end of this video. If you did enjoy it and you're just here for the deck Decklist. Make sure to like the video, all that good stuff to tell YouTube that this is a good video. And thank you for watching. If not, let's get on to that gameplay now. All right, we're playing into a Black Luffy. I think Black Luffy could be pretty difficult depending on how the game plays out. They're going to take second away from me, and I see a pretty nice curve going first. I don't see a 5-Don play, but I'm going to keep this. I can search for it. Still no 5-Don play, but I'm going to grab this Daifuku kind of to replace the 2K that I just used. I'll pass. I can probably pitch the smoothie maybe. Maybe I just pitch the Parasparrow. I find myself with these effects. Okay, I will be pitching the smoothie just because I have two. I find myself with these kinds of effects more often than not, just trashing whatever isn't really convenient. Like here, the Parasparrow is not great. My opponent is going to let me heal here. Then I will trash maybe the Daifuku. Okay, I do get to choose one. This is a good 5-Don play. I have a 7-Don play, so I'm going to get rid of the Katakuri. And plus, I don't think this Katakuri is going to be all that great in this matchup just because, I mean, the bodies are small or they're 5Ks, and I think I just need to go face and kind of trade with my opponent as much as possible. Got this oven, gonna be a really nice play here. Yeah, deploy this, and then I'll go 6 just to prevent the Saw from blocking here. And I could trash here, but I would give up a lot of like really important things, so I'm just going to go 6 and pass. Next turn I can play the smoothie, which is going to be a pretty good card because I heal one, and if I get them to trash a good card, they're running an interesting package, a one-legged soldier. Are they perhaps running a removal package, or maybe they're just running a test deck with some filler cards for now? In a really big hand, I believe that might indicate they are going to try to like starve me out, but I just don't swing with anything that would like let them starve me in this scenario. They do want to do that. Laboon, interesting. All right, this turn we can smoothie, use the card action to gain 1 life, and then they are forced to trash one. And then I honestly just don't swing here. They're gonna block it here. Like I'll swing to swing, but they're just gonna block it if they're, yeah. I can pass, and hopefully by now I would have a 10-drop to have played on my turn 2 from now, but I can just Sweet Commander to swing into the Laboon at this point, which is nice. And I can probably also swing into the Usopp. I think the 3 Sweet Commander is going to be good in this matchup because I need to be removing multiple things per turn in order to deal with like the blockers that they're going to be playing out. But I do think removal is going to be pretty expensive in this deck because I don't really remember if they have any cost-based removal cards. I don't think they do. They might have like some 2-drop removal. I think this Rudo is an awesome card for the deck. They're running a lot of 2Ks. All right, Loki is the removal. I remember now. So they're going to be able to clear me for 2, or the smoothie, the pudding, and the Strucin. All right, they're going to clear those 2. Could have cleared the Strucin. Actually, it probably would have been really good for them to clear the Strucin here. I do think, though, I will just... I think the 3 Sweet Commander is the right play here. Gain 1 life and... use that, and I can swing into it with Strucin and then Oven and then my leader, try and get through all of the attacks. If they counter here, then they can just block all of them, but yeah, I probably should have thrown the 6 first. I don't know. I will actually trash one here. Actually, I think I need the smoothie for my next turn. I guess I could trash the Daifuku. I might be throwing a little bit. And then I'll heal one using the oven. I can't play out for my trash. I'll trash the Zeus. Getting pretty low on cards in hand, so I don't really need them. I think they're just planning to do a really big clapback. And once I get enough of these Linlins out, I'll have plenty of life and not too many issues, I don't think. This oven, if they remove it here, kind of whatever. I'll trash the Daifuku. I mean, I have so many life, the 2Ks aren't really needed because of how defensive they are. I think off the oven, I just play the most expensive character, which is probably the... or I could play the pudding off of it, I believe. Yeah, pudding is probably going to be the best play off of that. I actually didn't even think about that when I put it into the deck, but that's a really good reason to include it. I'm gonna grab Brook, and this is what I was planning to do with the deck when I originally saw it. I'm going to press the oven here. I do decide to remove my oven. That'll be rough. Take this, no trigger, but we did see a good play. Take this again. I'll use this effect and remove their Laboon unless they want to trash the 3. I think this would have been, I think it honestly would have been fair. Oh, they're gonna trash the 3. That's insane. I just dropped this first then and trash the, honestly, I'm gonna trash the Daifuku. I think I'm totally fine to do that. They can trash their life or the last 2 cards in their hand. All right, they're gonna trash that. I have a couple swings here. I can go with the 6 here. I'm not gonna use the effect. All right, and they're gonna let that go, and then I'll just pass here, I guess. Not too much I can do until I get the 10 cost Linlin. deck is, ooh, what was that? You have to 2 of your opponent's characters at the cost of 6 or less. That's pretty good. I will not trigger this out. I think I hold on to triggers for a second. That one's especially good. And here I will play this. Gain a life. Then I can putting trashing the Katakuri. Good thing I saved it. Seems like my opponent's plan is to play out this Brook as much as possible. That's one of the approaches I took to it. Pretty similar to that Pike deck I was playing, actually. If you are interested in Riftbound content, let me know. I've been thinking about it, but I haven't been totally convinced to try it. Take the jump. I have some in real life content filmed for it, and I've been thinking about making sort of a One Piece player's take on Riftbound kind of video. That should be pretty interesting, but I'm not sure people will love it. All right, let's try and get one of our... Nothing yet. I probably could have trashed something there, but just waiting on those Linlins. I have 21 cards left in deck, looking kind of rough, but to get the first one, we can start playing this out and stuff. I'll take... Honestly, my opponent might mill themselves out faster than I can mill myself out faster, so it might be fine. And I'll take this. Okay, and we see our first Linlin, which is pretty good. I don't think they can remove it, which is nice. So I'll gain 1 life here because it's pretty risky for me to do anything else. I'll do this, and I can trash a card here. I think the Katakuri would be really good to play off of the Sparrow next turn. So I will trash the Cracker, I think. And then I will trash a Zeus, heal 1, and I'm at 6 now. I have a really good play for next turn that will keep me healthy. And then I can swing some 8s. Swing into this here, try and force them to give me up a card, but also just swing this 8 here and risk the Strucin. Oh, I forgot they had a second one. But this turn, I assume they're just going to clear my board and swing into it, but that's what this oven's for. That's why it's good, because if they want to clear the oven, I will give it 2k here, I think, just because... I mean, it eats a swing from them, and it's not going face. Although I'm not really too concerned about it going face. They're giving, this is a 6 cost now. Ooh, they're getting it really low. That's actually really bad for me. And they can still play the Loki, but now they can't swing into, okay, that's fine. Not gonna use the trigger effect. I will deploy this, I think. I can just deploy the Sparrow too. Yeah, because I'm gonna swing with things. Deploy this, gain 1 life, -3 that, and then go 4 into 3. I could do 5 into 3 a couple times. I'll go 5s, get 2 more blocks. I'm gonna swing a 4 this time. See if I can, or it's at 2. I did math bad, oops. I'll swing this. Yeah, and they give that one up. I can probably get a life here. Swing a 5 at base. Actually, I'll swing it at the Laboon. I'll swing a 6 at the Laboon. Do I want to trash a card here? I think it's fine, maybe. It would be the Sparrow, and I think I need to keep the cards, so nice. And we got rid of their only swings, realistically. They can swing with their blockers now. Okay, and then they get the Luffy, which will probably play them out yeah. I will get rid of the Zeus here. Zeus isn't doing me any favors. I'll let that clear. Luffy probably swings into board. Yeah, I'll let that clear. Oh wow, they're gonna swing that. So now I can technically hit life, and especially if I get this, I'll gain 1 life. And I have a Sparrow and an oven, and I'll just swing at face. I'm not gonna use my effect. 8, and next turn there's a decent chance that I'll just unblockable. Maybe I Sparrow to try and get some cards out of hand first. Okay, and they're gonna concede. Pretty good for me. If could they have defended the big swing? They could have gotten rid of the Saw, which would have maybe drawn them a 2k. So the Saw could be a 2k, so 2k. This might have been able to turn into a 2k. So it could have been 2k, 2k, 2k. So it's 11, 12, 13, and I would have been swinging a 14. So I would have had it. That's pretty good. And I would have had 3 swings. So if they wanted to swing to anything, I guess. But deck still feels pretty good. You got to be really smart with how you swing with it. But I think there are enough cards to kind of get yourself out of being punished to make it really annoying to play into. I mean, look at this. I'm at 7 life right now. Kind of crazy. All right, this is a leader I'm really interested to see how it plays. It is Rocks, and I'm gonna be playing this. They're gonna take second away from me, and I don't see the best opening hand. I see a turn 4 play. I'm gonna mulligan this. Nice, when we see a Smoothie and a Strucin, we can look for a turn 5 play, because we see a pretty good curve. We see the Cracker. Now, perfect, we have our curve. And I just need to play around it and not give up any of it. I probably pitch the Master Saber next turn, and then Cracker after that. I just continuously kind of smack face with it too. They drop the full lead and the Strucin. All right, and they get to draw one and not show me it. Nice. And this game is looking pretty good so far. So I'm going to deploy this. It's the Master Saber. And I think the Linlin is going to be pretty good in this scenario. I don't think I'm going to get them that low that early. I'm going to pitch the Peril Sparrow here. Even though it's a pretty good 9-Don play, maybe should trash the Cracker first, because I'm already going to play one. All right, but I can just plan on trashing them both. And they're going to go to 6 with the stage. I really do think Zebek is pretty cool. I think the slash attribute being on it is pretty rough. Could have been special, maybe. I don't know. I just take this swing. If it's going to be a 5-6, maybe not the best. All right, Newgate, trashing a Newgate, drawing at least a Newgate. They revealed a Newgate. It's going to be their turn 3 play. I wouldn't be surprised if they had something here. This is a rough trigger to see first, especially when they could have just played something. I'm not going to trigger it. I can always keep a Don up on a later turn. Maybe I play this on my 7-Don instead. Not going to rest it. Interesting. I'm just going to drop my 5-Don play here. Gain a life, and I think I'm pretty safe to trash a Smoothie. Next turn I could maybe just trash the Linlin. So I'm good to trash here, I think. It keeps me healthy, and because they didn't rest the Captain John, I can do stuff. And why did they trash something? Oh, they trashed a card because of my leader effect. I read this leader, definitely. I know what it does. I've made a video on it before. So 7-Don play is going to be Smoothie. 9-Don play will probably be this Linlin again. Or honestly, I'm going to let my opponent draw 2. I don't really care. I'm going to have them trash 2 cards too. This is like a pretty anti-Linlin card, which is pretty fun. And I'm just going to take this one, and I can always counter the next one if it's a 6. Yeah, it's going to be a 6. I will counter this next one just because I'm going to try and have them trash some cards, and I have 2Ks in my hand. All right. Yeah, I do think this Linlin is the right play. I will trash the Daifuku from my hand. Maybe I should have kept the Daifuku because it's like playable at least. I'm hoping they trash the life. Yeah, that's perfect for me because like realistically, they really don't have that much counter, and I will not be using my leader effect this turn. Next turn, I'll drop the Linlin and swing some 8 and a 7. Oh wait, no, next turn I will just drop the Smoothie and keep a Don up for a counter event. All right, and they go to 7 on that. No ovens. This game is pretty rough. I would love to see an oven so that I can start turning my board sideways a little less riskily. I have 9 cards in hand, but not a lot of counter. They can play an 8 cost. What 8 cost do they have? I can bottom deck one of my cards, which is pretty scary with the Gloriosa, but I'm not sure what else it would be. It'd probably be the Newgate this turn, maybe. I'll take this one. Okay, that's kind of rough. We're not seeing the heal cards we need. I do think Linlin is very high roll dependent, so maybe Rocks counters it. I don't know. I'll take this. Do I want to trigger this to search something for next turn? I'll use the trigger, I guess. We can see 3 Sweet Commanders is going to be a pretty good drop, honestly. So I'll grab that. That way I can try and clear the Captain John and the Linlin. That's a lot of Linlins. I mean, at least I'm pretty comfortable in dropping them. Oof, there goes a lot of my plays though. Use this card action to gain 1 life, and then I'll get these -3 each. And this next turn, I can trash the Cracker because I'm just gonna be playing these Linlins after this. I think I want to keep up enough Don to use a counter event possibly. They're gonna trash 1, which is good for me. And then they could. All right, they're gonna block, and then I could go a 3 into it, but I don't think that's a good idea. They have 2 counter events, so I'll go a 5 into it, which isn't great for me because I don't get to leave the Don up anymore. Maybe I should look to trash this Master Saber. They're gonna use a lot of events there, a lot of cards from hand, which is good for me, but I am at 3 life now, so these Linlins are going to need to be healing me. All right, they get to clear my board, just kind of how it goes. I'll give my opponent 2 cards. Definitely don't have the cards in hand to be trashing to like that right now, just because I'm probably leader affecting next turn to stay in the game a little bit longer. This 5 cost 7k is crazy. I do think one of the reasons I think Rocks is going to be good is because it's like a vanilla deck. You have a lot of effects that are or a lot of cards that are just vanillas, but give you counter in hand that you're lacking because you're running all vanillas. Very flavorful deck too. But it is slash leader, so who knows? The Captain John feels pretty strong, but I think it does lose to Red's power reduction and Purple's power reduction. All right, and do I have to take everything here? I'll definitely take the first swing. Use this trigger to get another thing I can swing into Captain John next turn, hopefully to remove it. I'm guessing the Stussy gets rested and doesn't swing into me, but the Captain John does. Yeah, and the Stussy hopefully freezes the Linlin. My opponent doesn't realize that the no trigger there is rough. Opponent hopefully doesn't realize that these are gonna all hit 8k. When I drop this, I'll gain a life, swing 8 into here. And at this point, they should not have enough cards to defend this properly, unless they have a lot of these 2K events in hand. All right, they go to 7, and then do they give me a 0 cost? Yeah. All right, they have 2 more. Okay, and then I do get to swing at the, I'll swing at the Stussy. I mean, I'm like in a spot where I need to be kind of playing defensively just because I'm at 2 life. And they're gonna go down to 3 cards in hand. That was pretty good for me. I can drop my second Linlin this turn coming up. They do freeze one of them with the Stussy, I assume. And I just kind of have to let them clear me. But if I do 2K this, I think they don't swing the Stussy, but they probably swing a Linlin, and that gets me out of using a 2K and a 1K. They just like swing both of them into him, which is better for me than having to defend my life with that, because I want to start stacking life at this point. So I'm assuming this, we see 3 Don, and then they swing like a 8/8 into the Daifuku and Sweet Commanders, but if they don't, I think that's a mistake on their part, just because I'll start just wailing on their board with the, yeah. It goes through, and we Linlin this turn. I'll gain 1 life, and I'll swing here, and I will trash the Katakuri. I think is going to be pretty good in this scenario. I'll trash the Master Saber. All right, and they're going to trash 1. They're going to go +1, and hopefully this, oh, misclicked like crazy there. I needed to be able to defend myself, I guess, this turn. It's a really rough misclick. But hopefully I can double heal next turn by dropping another Linlin. That misclick honestly could have cost me the game, because I was hoping to clear the other Linlins with my Linlins, but unfortunately will not be able to. I think this Ganzui is like an okay card. I think it's like kind of matchup dependent. I think I want to get rid of the Smoothie. Getting rid of the Shiki is interesting because it's obvious I'm going for their life or their board, and if I don't have any characters to swing into board, it's pretty rough. 22 cards versus 14 cards. Ooh, okay, and both of, all right, okay, my whole board is frozen. That's scary. This Stussy is strong. That is going to, I think I give 1K here because it's easier to defend this. I'll use a oven because I don't think I'm gonna have the time to play the oven, and I'll get this one up, and then I will take this 7K swing that's coming at me, or 8K swing. I use it. I got an oven that's pretty good for me, and I can deploy this. I'll gain a life, and then I will start by swinging a 5 into this Stussy. I will trash a Katakuri, I guess. I mean, the Katakuri is going to be a really good way for me to kind of snap back into the game. Hopefully this can clear maybe. I mean, they have 1, 2, 3, 4K counter. They decided to trash their entire hand. They're going to defend it with 1K. Oh, interesting. What? I think they probably misclicked there. Good for me though. I misclicked too. It's even now. And now I don't think they have any way to defend their Stussy with their leader or character effects. I just have to survive this turn, and I have plenty of counter in hand. I have a lot, but I just need to counter out of 1 swing here. Never mind. I get to play something off of my oven, which is pretty great for me. I'm gonna grab a pudding, a trash a pudding to draw a bunch of cards, draw into another pudding, which is pretty nice. I can just take these. I'll use this trigger effect to play out over that, and now hopefully I can just kind of win on the clapback. Not going to trigger this. Then I think I do need to counter out of this one. I will 1K 2K this one. All right, Zabek is going to play out 9 worth of characters from my opponent's hand, which is pretty scary, but if I can just kind of clear board and get to, I think, 3 health, I should be fine. This Shiki, the golden lion, kind of scary. We'll see what I can do. I'll start by swinging a, ooh, this is a tough choice. I could develop another Linlin and guarantee a heal. This like lets me guarantee that I clear board, I think, which is better. So I'll start by swinging a 9 into the Linlin, then I'll play the commanders over it, and I can swing another 9 and like other stuff into the Linlins. Okay, that's really good that they got that effect out early, because it means that they don't have a lot of ways to respond to this. Use the card action, I'll gain 1 life, and then I will -3 both of those. Puts them down to 4s, which means this 6 is going to be pretty threatening. I think I might trash the Linlin here, see what happens. If they're gonna just trash a card, and as long as they don't math out this next play correctly, I should be good to just kind of wail on life a little bit here. I just need to counter out of 1, and I don't think they have any rush characters, so that's good for me. They could try and clear board. I guess if they clear all of my Linlins, I'm screwed. Because if they do that, I don't have an 8K board. So some of my resources need to go into protecting at least one Linlin, because then I have no way to kind of clear out my opponent's hand. They have a 12K, which is going to make it hard to defend. And this is essentially a 12K because it gives -3. So whatever this Zebek kind of swings into, I have to defend. And if they have another Shiki, I just have to give up the one that they -3 twice, assumedly, or just once, depending on how things work out. So they could, the best swing I think they could have to remove these is a 12, basically another 12, and then an 8. So I would have to defend probably the 12K from Zebek. All right, they're going face. So here, what do they have? They have 8 more Don. So 8 plus 5 is going to be 13. So it's going to be 11, 12, 13. I can get out of an 11. I think I can go to 11 and then, yeah. So I counter out here, but this does give them the opportunity to, I don't think they can clear all of my Linlins at this point. So theoretically, I should have game here. Draw a card that they want. I just need to wail on life. Like if they hit my life, whatever. I need to protect my board too. I only have 2K counter, so kind of whatever they do, if I can counter out of it, I do. All right, and I think that means I counter out of this, because that makes it so, ooh, that's rough. That is removal. They could theoretically survive here, which is scary. I forgot they have blockers in their deck. So I need to do math here. So it's -3 plus 1. So they have essentially a 4K counter with 2 cards, so 2 2Ks, and then they could have 2K. I mean, I think they only have 8 2K events in the deck right now. And how many have they used? They've used 5 of them. So I'll count on one more being a 2K. So then they block. So it's a 10K hits. I'll test a 10K now, because I need to get 3 through basically, because 1 blocker, 1 life, 1 swing. Okay, so they have more than 10, and then a 2K event. Oh, I forgot they have rocks too. So now the most they could have is 9, I believe. But I'll swing a 10, because I don't think they have any tricks up their sleeve. Or what is this, an 11? You can go 11, 13, 13. All right, 13 should hit, and then 13. That's GG. Yeah, 2 2Ks was a good call to do math around. It's pretty good. Anyways, that's kind of gonna be the last game I play. I think Shanks is a leader I'd like to play into and test into more before I change the deck. So I'll go do the deck reflection on the current list and talk a little bit more about it. All right, here's that deck list one more time. I'm feeling pretty good about it. I think these 6-cost Linlins were feeling pretty good because a lot of people just always had cards in hand. And the Sweet Commanders, I wrote off a little bit too much. I did forget about the card draw, which is probably one of the most important parts of it. And Sparrow didn't really get to shine. I do think if I were to cut out any card, it would probably be the Linlin before anything else. Bump up Zeus and Sparrow. I think we could fall into a meta where the 2Ks are really important because the Newgate deck is going to be swinging 8s a lot. It does look like Newgate does have some legs to stand on. I do think the 2K ratio does entirely depend on how many cards the deck is consistently drawing, what you're prioritizing on playing, because the times you put things into life doesn't really matter. They don't really count as card draw in this deck necessarily because your opponent will just build a board and then eventually swing into you unless you can win on the clapback, in which case they have to play a lot more conservatively. So where I'm at now is I think this list could change quite a bit, but it really depends on the meta. I am a big fan of the Zeus in the deck. I know it didn't get any time to shine, but I was noticing places where it would be really good in that Rocks matchup. I don't know if Rocks is going to be good either, but that's one of the reasons I'm really preaching here that what this deck list looks like during the meta really depends on what the meta looks like. And I do really like this. There's still a Code of Honor, you clowns card. I think it's pretty sick. Unblockable on your leader when Black Luffy might be meta, or when the Rocks deck might be meta when they play blockers and stuff will be pretty sick. Master Saber, I think we could maybe cut down. It's a really nice trigger. Maybe if we switch these Zeuses to Hioris, I think that makes sense a little bit, because when getting these ovens in life is a little bit more important than like seeing a pudding in life, and being able to kind of swap it, guarantee that the oven is the one in life, and maybe you get out like a Daifuku, something you're preferring to see in hand, honestly, or maybe like a Katakuri or a Cracker. I do think I will test some Hiyori gameplay out. I don't want to reduce the number of triggers. Maybe the Strucing gets taken out, but there were games, I mean, both of the games today, it was really important to see my curve where I go 1, 3, 5, 7, and so on. I think this deck has a lot of legs to stand on if the meta really depends on the dice roll, because as I said, I really wanted to go second to see the like 2-cost curve where I can like Pudding on 4 or Oven on 4, Strucin on 1, you know, Katakuri on 6, 3 Sweet Commanders on 8, and Linlin on 10 when I just don't swing my board too. But it felt pretty good going first too. I don't think it felt as good, but that's what I feel about the deck. I think it's going to be pretty sick. I'm not committing to playing it or anything at Nationals yet, but definitely drawn to it. I'll say that. Thank you guys so much for watching, and remember to like the video, all that good YouTube stuff, comment if you want to drive engagement, subscribe. I've got channel memberships. The YouTube says to mention them. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I do hope to see you in the next one.